The Secular Student Alliance is an organization, an umbrella organization that helps create and maintain and support atheist student groups around the country. And they have their big conference this weekend. And it's always been, they had this one conference in Ohio every summer. And this year it's gotten so big that they actually had one in Vegas, Las Vegas, last month, so that for people on the West Coast, and now they're doing Columbus this weekend for the East Coast. But it's seriously, it's one of the most life-changing conferences you will ever go to. The first conference I ever went to was their annual conference. This has to be over 10 years ago. And I remember it was in Florida, and there were maybe a dozen students there at most, and like 6 of them were from the same school, and they could just drive there. But it was amazing because for the first time in my life, I had gone from being, an atheist in high school when I really didn't know too many other atheists, and even in college when it was weird for me to tell anyone I was an atheist, and I started a group there and I still didn't know that many. And then you go to this conference where there are other college students and high school students there, and none of them believe in God. And they're all doing amazing things with their groups on these campuses everywhere across the country, and they're sharing their ideas. And you hear all these people talk about what they're doing and what's changing for them, and how we could change our own campuses and lives around us. And you're just so inspired, and you go back to school and you're like, I want to do all of these things. I want to do this volunteer work and service project, and I want to bring that speaker to my school. Just unbelievable. And now they're getting hundreds and hundreds of kids showing up to these conferences. And it's just beautiful camaraderie and just people supporting each other and sharing the things that they've done. And I'm, even now that I am so far outside of college and I'm working and, I have a life outside of school, it's still inspiring to me to meet these students who, in some cases, are just leading these big groups and doing amazing things with it. Some kids are just so brand new to atheism, and they're still afraid to tell people they're an atheist. And for the first time, they're about to meet people who don't judge them badly and who respect them for their beliefs. And oh, how life-changing that is too. So, this is one of the very few places every year I make it a plan to go to this conference because it's just that amazing. And I love talking to the people who show up there, and I love hearing what they're doing because they do a really nice thing where they don't have hour-long lectures. They have very short talks and many, many, many talks at the same time. And all over the weekend. So you get to hear a whole bunch of different ideas. And if one thing doesn't work for you, it's going to be done in like 20 minutes. So I love how they run it. I think the world of the staff there, and it's just awesome to meet all these people. So if you're interested, and I no longer work with the SSA, so I feel I can give this plug without sounding like I'm part of them, but the secularstudents.org is the website, and just a fantastic organization, probably the most influential one in my own upbringing. My name is Hemant Mehta. I write at friendlyatheist.com, and if you have any questions for us, please leave them in the comments.